Alrighty, welcome ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys all so much for stopping by. Let me see, is my audio here? It is running. Cool, sweet. My name is Eli with Pokémon USA. If you do not already know, Tuesdays and Thursdays are my Q&A session days where I answer any and all of your questions. If you're wondering why the video is titled the way it is because I typically don't have time to go through and answer any and all of your questions for the most part, as the previous video that was posted. So usually this is a time for you guys to have a conversation about the previous video. And to be quite frank, I have a very, I don't want to say this. I have a belief that more than likely we're going to have a lot of conversations about today. I would love to have your guys' personal opinions and thoughts because, boy, some people did not like my opinion on celebrations, which I thought was quite interesting. So would be more than happy to get into a conversation with you guys on that. So I can, of course, elaborate a little bit more. But before we jump into it, as always, we do weekly giveaways. All you have to do to enter is be subscribed, leave a like, comment down below on any of the pre-recorded videos we post each and every week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We've got 3 winners each and every week, so multiple opportunities to both, of course, enter, since you can comment, like in each video, and then win. But let's give a couple shout outs to the people that are here so far. Let me pull up the chat on my side real quick. Give me a second, ladies and gentlemen, so I can start to say hi to some people. All right, cool. Starting off with DJ, good to see you. Eddie G, good to see you here as well. Steven, Levi, Lord Narwhal, TT, Wolf Collect, Ivan, P, Polka Department Store, Max Master, Christian. Did I already say Justin? I think I already did, but in case I didn't, I'll say Justin again. Oliver, Gary, Tim, and that's it. That is it. Shout out to all you guys. All right, so let's start asking some questions on let's start having a conversation about what you guys are first and foremost saying. Then we'll get into the topic if anyone wants to kind of go after me on that because we're really passionate about the list that I made. Are Pokemon Diamond packs over or undervalued, and why? I would say that there's an argument to be made that the packs themselves are only undervalued if you think the cards themselves are overvalued, or how do I want to say this, are valued appropriately. So level X cards at the moment are selling for $1,000+ for a large portion of them. That is overinflated in my personal opinion. They should not be selling for that much for a level X card. Granted, Diamond and Pearl was a lot more scarce of a generation compared to the Black and White era, but still, it has me to believe that the pricing for a lot of these level X's, where they were extremely low pop, populations are continuously growing for them. And it's not like it's one of these things where it's like, oh, hundreds are coming in. But if you have a pop 10 and then all of a sudden it's a pop 20, sure, only 10 were added to the pop, but it doubled the population. You know what I mean? So they're progressively getting less scarce. And with that, when you look at the ratio of the price per pack compared to the price of the cards in, PSA condition, there's an argument to be made that the packs are either undervalued because of, them not following the trend of what, level X cards continue to go up, but the pack prices stay the same, or they are valued appropriately and level X cards are just extremely overvalued. I would like to believe that there should be an equilibrium balance where packs actually are going to go down and the PSA cards are going to go down, but that's just me personally. But I'm a huge fan of level X and I've been picking them up at the current prices. So I do think they're worthwhile, especially considering how expensive the cards are. And if you pull one of them and you get it in a 10, it's worthwhile. But printing conditions are, of course, very, very hard to pull 10s in for the Diamond and Pearl era. I hope everyone's having a blessed day. Which tins have Cosmic D21 Pokeball tins? That could be, Premier, Great Ball, Ultra Ball. It just has to be D21. I still can't buy Pogo tins at $10 a piece. I'll wait till it's $5. Oh, everyone in there waiting for it to hit a certain price. T, they will never hit $5. Probably not. Justin Durr says, love you, Eli XO. Everyone pray for me, please. Let's just give some prayers to Justin. Shout out to him. Do you think standard Pogo ETBs at 35 and Brilliant Star ETBs at 29 are a good buy? What's the cheapest you have seen them recently? 35 it's wholesale on some websites, or sorry, on some distributors. And ETBs at 29 is $5 above wholesale. So those are great prices if you're getting at that. So I would definitely say that's awesome, dude. Charizard UPC worth keeping 10 of these. Bad boy seal locked away. I mean, not financial advice, not financial advisor, but At these prices, pick up as many as you can. What's your opinion on grading modern cards? Is it a waste of money from a long-term investment perspective? It's not necessarily a waste of money from a long-term perspective, but general scarcity of a product is obviously one of the most important things. And considering the population report of a lot of these cards have just continuously gone up with PSA, it makes it less of an enticing investment for me because it is inflationary. And don't get me wrong, it will be scalable over time as demand continues to increase in the hobby. But with that being said, I'd much rather find a product such as sealed where it's deflationary and I don't have to really worry about the fact that, hey, is there more people that are going to open this product? Because as more product of booster boxes opened over time, they become more scarce. And as more is opened over time, then cards become less scarce because there's more being pulled. So question, should I sell 2 Evo Skies for 610? Is that a fair price? I think honestly, if you're selling them at 610 and people are buying them, then I think that's worthwhile. But I think that for most people, they're probably going to try and get it for under 600 for the pair, but it depends on how you are with that. How you feeling on Hidden Fates ETB? Still a good pickup? Great pickup, especially since they've been kind of sidelined for a while, like just going back and forth at the current price. So I still like it. I think my issue is with calling a Celebrations low tier is that theoretically never going to get another print and it's a great set. Well, so here's my kind of thing on how I did the tier narwhal, and I want to make this very clear. I could have sworn I made it clear 5 times or more. It's an investment tier. It wasn't a ranking tier in terms of what I looked at the set from a non-investment perspective, 1, and then 2, I was doing it based off of the current market prices, because for me, I think that's an important thing to kind of consider. The reason why I put Evolving Skies at D tier is because I'm not telling you guys to pick up booster boxes for $300. I'm not telling you guys to pick up ETBs for $60 to $70, and I'm not going to tell you to buy an Umbreon at $400. That's crazy. So for me with Celebrations, I'm not going to tell you to pick up a Celebrations ETB at $70, $80. I'm not going to tell you to pick up a Celebrations UPC at $360. I'm not going to tell you to pick up a Charizard box, a Lance's Charizard box for $30 to $35. The understanding that I feel like people need to have is that I'm basing it off of what the current market price was. Now, if we had this conversation about a couple weeks ago when Walmart had, readily available Lance's Charizard boxes in stock, then obviously I would have ranked it higher, but it's just based on pricing, right? Because you guys know where my thoughts lie on specialty products. Specialty products, specifically ETBs, are always my top picks for investments, right? I've always been absolutely high on Crown Zenith ETBs as my #1 pickups. When Celebrations came out, it was my #1 pickup for Elite Trainer boxes. When Shining Fates came out, it's still one of my top pickups that I really enjoy. It's become less so as prices increase, but still, I still like it because you can get it for at or slightly below MSRP. So as these prices continue, they become less of my favorite in terms of pickups because of the overall prices going up. I think there's going to be better value elsewhere, because don't get me wrong, Celebrations is a specialty set. It's a 25th anniversary set. It was a set from a sealed product perspective that got a large amount of print, and then they said we're basically done with it. And so for that reason, for myself, yes, do I think it's going to do well over time from a performance perspective? Yes, but I'm saying if you're looking at the market as a whole and you're trying to say what opportunities are presented in front of me that I should take, those are ones right now where I feel like, if I'm being completely honest, you've kind of missed the boat on that, because prices for Celebrations products are just not worth it. Because if you're saying to yourself, right, you can get a Celebrations ETB for $800, even if that Elite Trainer box in the next 5 years, even into the next 5 years, it goes up to $320, which is insane that it would go up that much, right? Versus you go in right now and you get a Darkness Ablaze Elite Trainer box or a Brilliant Star Elite Trainer box for $30. All that Brilliant Star Elite Trainer box has to do is hit $120 to get the same amount of return value as you would if you were to get a, of course, Celebrations ETB. So my question for you is, what do you think is going to happen first? Brilliant Star, which you can enter in right now for $30, is going to hit 120. Or if you can get, of course, a Celebrations box at $700, or sorry, $70, $80, do you think it's going to hit 280, 320 first? That's kind of where my thought process lies with that. It has nothing to do with, I don't think it'll do well, because if you got in at $50 an ETB, then congratulations, that's an amazing entry point. If you got less than $50 in ETB, awesome, great entry point. But once again, I'm basing it off of what the current market is. When they had Lance's Charizards, it was my #1 pickup available at MSRP. It was my favorite pickup because I said I love specialty sets. I love specialty sets. I love anniversary sets. So I don't want people to I want people to understand I have nothing against celebrations as a whole because I've been super high on celebrations. I'm just saying I have something against celebrations at the moment under these current prices when it comes to picking them up. And with no expectation of reprints for celebrations as a set, then we're not expecting prices to get any lower unless we have a situation like what happened with Walmart. Now, if you're talking about from a singles perspective, I obviously gave my opinion on the singles. I like the Mew and I like the Umbreon because they are more scarce. But for the most part, Blastoises, I got one of the starters almost every Elite Trainer box. And so the scarcity of the starters and a lot of these other cards, they're very, very easy to pull. So you're going to get into a situation where people might say, oh, these cards are going to do well. But if they're easy to pull, they're not going to do as well as people think. It's only going to be the ones that are harder to pull. So just choose the ones that are the hardest to pull, which to my understanding was the Umbreon, the Mew, and I think there was an argument with the Magikarp. I'm not 100%, but that's just kind of my personal thought process behind it. So is it easy to resell a PSA 8 Chase Alt Art or Raw Near Mint? I want to buy Chase for my own enjoyment, but do want to be able to resell in the future. 8s are tough, man. I mean, when it comes to alternate art cards, specifically in the Sword and Shield era, everything from a 9 to a 10 is kind of what most people are looking for because it's really difficult to get an 8. Like 9s are super hard to get for Ultra Modern. It's usually 10s that are even easier. I mean, you look at the population reports, in a lot of instances, the 10s are higher than the 9s. So 8s are a tough sell, man, especially when you already have raw cards being more expensive than PSA cards in some instances. So an 8 is just kind of not good. Travis says, I missed the 5K stream. What the heck, man? Yeah, we broke a record. We got 117 live individuals. That's our record. Our previous one was 98. So shout out to Mr. Mason. That was awesome. I was excited about that. Do you think a buyer's market is possible for junk slabs as supply is flooded in short term or medium term? I mean, I think that it depends on what you define as junk slabs, because I think generationally it changes, because obviously when you're looking at the base set unlimited, or when you're looking at ultra modern, junk slabs, in my personal opinion, are absolutely worthless. There's no point to them. You can have a conversation about eras where you've got really scarce cards, but at that point I wouldn't necessarily call them junk slabs themselves, because those cards are scarce and PSA 8s of them are still worthwhile value. So I think that for the most part, junk slabs are kind of irrelevant, and I personally would stay away from them just because population's continuously increasing with PSA as people use it more often than not. I understand it's investment ranking, but if I won't reprint and it's a good set, you theorize that it'll only go up in price from here. I understand if you're saying the other sets will outperform it though. Yeah, exactly. It's just an outperformance from the current price point you can get everything else at. That's just kind of the general philosophy that I have with it, right? To clarify, the recent Sword and Shield says we should start to sell them now. Have a couple of people will buy Evo. Well, here's my deal, Tom. Obviously, I'm never going to tell you, like, you can sell whenever you want to sell. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. But in terms of prices, right, if we have an expectation that we're going to get reprints and we don't know what the confirmation of those reprints are, then you can always be patient up until the point in which I hear more confirmation news. Now, if you want to be safe than sorry, because we are expecting reprints, then you can always, of course, sell ahead of time to get ahead of it. But you are taking that risk where if that booster box that you are selling ahead of time ends up not getting reprinted, then you, of course, preemptively sold on a product that is not going to get a reprint, is more than likely just going to continue to go up. So that's kind of my personal philosophy on that. So I think patience is always a good thing, but it's never a bad thing to take profits off the table, because hypothetically, if I let you guys know the news when it's too late, or I let you guys know the news by the time that it's already being printed and prices already start to correct before my video even comes out, then obviously you're just going to be leaving money on the table. So you have to, once again, take that into consideration. ES 300 better pickup than Vim Voltage at 150 long term. Yikes, buddy, that is a tough conversation to have. No, I think Voltage at 150 is better pickup than ES 300, but I would not be picking up either of those. So yeah, no, I'm gonna have to say pass on both, but if I had to choose one. And that's just because, once again, it's not that I don't believe Evolving Skies is one of the best sets of all time, and I don't think it's going to be a great performing set. I mean, it's at $300 for a reason. It's performed incredibly. It just comes down to the fact that, which do you think is going to happen first? Do you think that Evolving Skies is going to hit 600 first, or do you think Vivid Voltage is going to hit 300 first? I think it's an easier argument to make that it's going to take Vivid Voltage less time to hit 300 than Evolving Skies 600, because that's how much of a price gain you're going to have to, at those prices, gain at least a 2x return. The investment video made complete sense. Are you selling anything else other than Pokemon, says Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic the Gathering? Just curious, because when I do the store and Pokemon is gone, I buy that stuff. At this moment in time, the only Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic product that I'm selling is just to our current wholesale members for the Patreon, which sadly at this moment in time we're completely filled. But of course I would always, make sure to check, as in my general opinion, I could be off on this. I don't expect it to be something where it's just going to stay locked at 50. I wouldn't be surprised if some people are going to filter in and out from time to time, as they, some people find value out of it, some people don't. We've had, I want to say, so of the 50 people, we had like 20 people join in one day. And of those like 20 new people that joined, only like 3 of them, I would say, have really utilized it. And I would say about, from the previous 30 that had already joined, I would say about 25-ish or so are using it. So more than half of people are on the list right now actively using it, but there's a good amount of people that aren't. And I don't know if that's because they're just waiting for reprints to happen before they put in their orders, or whatever it may be. But it wouldn't surprise me if, let's say, a handful of those individuals, like 5 or so, were to filter on out. Don't know why they're not using it, because I have made allocation sheets for them. I have made fulfillment sheets for them. So I've let them know that they can order whatever they want. Haven't even messaged me on either Patreon or Discord. So I don't know. They're just giving me money, I guess, until they decide to message me back. So we'll see what happens with that. So I don't know what to say to that, honestly. Sorry if you answered this before. What's your best Sword and Shield set? Is it Evolving Skies? Well, what do you mean by that? What is my best set? Good afternoon, Trainer Mason. Good to see you, brother. Congrats on 500 again. Yeah, gotcha. I was never putting you on blast for the ranking. I just thought I was under-ranked before all the outrage came out. So wanted to clarify thoughts. So then where would you put it, Lord Narwhal? Let's have a conversation about what you guys would put it at and why. You know what I mean? Blephosaurus. Hey Eli, your latest video was hot trash. Kidding, like the structure of it. I appreciate that. Celebrations has a way higher ceiling on the ETB, but I understand that, Jacob. I understand it has a higher ceiling, but let me ask you guys this question, and I'm asking this for anyone to answer in the comment section. What do you think is going to happen first? Do you think that if you were to buy a Celebrations ETB for 80 versus a Brilliant Star ETB for 30, which is going to 4x first? Do you think Celebrations is going to hit 320 before Brilliant Star is going to hit 120? That is my question to you. I think it's very unrealistic to make that argument, and that's why I don't like it. Now, if you're saying you can get it for 70, sure, we'll say, is it going to hit 280 before 120 for Brilliant Star? I don't care. I'm still going to make the same argument. Now, if you were to say which is going to happen first, Celebrations to 200 versus Brilliant Star to 120, now that is an argument I feel like you can make for me to say it's going to hit 200 before 120, but your entry price to make the same yield or return is going to have to be at that $50 price point for you to 4x. What's up, SoundQuest? Hopefully all is good with you. What's a good way to promote an online shop, post on socials, donate in YouTube channel to get your name out there? For me, what I did, Poké Department Store, is I really branded myself through Discord communities and Reddit communities, so that when it came to like good deals on products, that's kind of where I first started. And then through that, I eventually transitioned into doing giveaways, and that was kind of what really took me off. And not to mention too, when it comes to what you're doing, you have to understand the algorithm for how YouTube works. And that's kind of where it starts, because you can sit here and say, I'm going to do giveaways, right? But giveaways themselves are not purely going to gain exposure. You have to have a topic of interest or a title of interest that people are going to click on your video. And then once they've clicked on your video, they're going to give you that engagement through liking and commenting, which is then going to continuously increase the algorithm as it boosts your videos. Yes, I think the market is fluid depending on entry point. I love celebrations. Investing in it now is not the best. I mean, and that's my point. Like I said before, if you literally had a conversation with me 2-3 months ago, celebrations, or when celebrations first came out, I would have said goated, best investment. And I was saying that. That's exactly what I was saying. I would not shut up about the collector's chests. When I made my top 5 product videos, collector's chest, I wouldn't shut up about it. Pokemon Center, premium ETBs, I picked up so many of those, and I told people to pick up those for celebrations. Wouldn't shut up about it. So there was a ton of celebrations product I was telling people to pick up because I was like, I love it, amazing product, such a great return. You're more than likely going to get. For those that listen, great, you made a great return. For those that don't, I'm saying, looking at prices now, I'm changing my statement based off of pricing right now. Yo, what's up? Just listening while I work. Right on, John. Big Papa, on the fence about selling my Chilling Reign singles right now, reprint or not, LOL thoughts. I think that the Chilling Reign reprint is definitely more up in the air than most others. I think that it's an easy argument to make for, of course, Evolving Skies to present for reprints. I mean, Fusion Strike is also up in the air, technically speaking. But the only compelling argument I would make is Celebration, or Chilling Reign is one of the most underprinted sets. So for those of you guys that don't know, Chilling Reign was released in 2 waves. Wave 1 came out, the initial release, and then Wave 2 continuously got delayed. So the actual Wave 2 did not come out until the end of the year of 2021. That was not a reprint. That was a resupply of a second wave that got delayed. So how it consistently worked for me with distro, I would get 45 booster boxes Wave 1, and then I would get like 45 boxes Wave 2 if it was a 2-wave period. For release, I only got 45 booster boxes, so I got half my general allocations I usually get for a set. Now, we're not doing the wave system now, so it's 90 on wave 1, and that's it. There's no more waves, so anything after that is considered to be reprint. They had to wave structure it this way because they had supply chain issues, so people are very much misunderstanding the difference between a reprint and a resupply of product. When you are slowly pushing out product over time, it's going to cause a different effect than when you're throwing it all on the market, because the market has time to immediately react to that price and then slowly over time grind it out until it just skyrockets from there. Versus if you drop a bunch of product, prices kind of stabilize pretty quickly, drop more product after it's stabilized, it allows a lot better of a growth progression, in my personal opinion. I could be, of course, you could disagree with me on this, however you want to look at it, but that's what happened with Chilling Reign. So for that reason, it is yet to get a reprint. So has Fusion Strike, also yet to get a reprint. It actually ended up having a large amount of product that was supplied all at once. Wave 2 came much earlier than anticipated for Fusion. And on top of that as well, it came out in between Brilliant and Evolving Skies and Celebration. So the value of the set was not suppressed based on the fact that, oh, the set sucked, or oh, it was printed in the ground. It just comes down to the fact that there was a ton of product that was printed all at once. So that's why it makes total sense where you could see both of those get reprinted. Now, the reason why I don't think Battle Styles is going to get reprinted, but of course, once again, I could be wrong, is Battle Styles is one of the most printed sets in the Sword Shield era. It had its initial 3 waves, which it was a 3-wave set, not a 2-wave set. So I want people to understand that. And then on top of that, it got a reprint following that. So it had 3 waves of product, not just this initial wave 1 and wave 2, but then they announced a 3rd wave was going to be coming. Then they announced a reprint wave, which was also going to be coming. So Battle Styles has had so much supply, which is why one of the reasons why the product itself has been the cheapest of the 3. You might say, oh, I don't like Battle Styles, and that's one of the reasons why. And don't get me wrong, you can take that into consideration, obviously. But from a just pure supply perspective, it is definitely the highest inflated value in terms of the overall supply available, or it's got the most supply. So that's why it wouldn't surprise me if Chilling Reign and Fusion both got reprints, because technically speaking, the supply of them is pretty low for the fact that they never got any reprints. And the Pokemon Company likes to do reprints. Next question. Yo, what's up? Just listen while I work. Already answered that. Eli, my PSA return came back, and there were some cards that look great to me that graded 5 or 6s, and other cards that look worse for me that got 7s or 8s. One thing I've noticed that if a card looks bad, there's usually 2 things as to why, or if it looks good and got a 5 or 6, there's 2 reasons for it. One, either there is a like a little bit of a, not a tear, but like a crimp that you don't know about, that you can't visibly see. That happens sometimes. Or two, sometimes you've got different graders that grade edges in a way that they represent it as damage, even though it's not. So it just happens sometimes. I've sent it in for regrade just to kind of see, and sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong in terms of the way in which I look at it, but you always got to look closer, because there was a time I got a card that got a 6 and I was like, why does this have a 6? This card should be a 9. And then I looked and there was a small, like tiny, minuscule kind of crimp as if the card had been slightly damaged, and I was like, gosh dang it, did this happen? Did I miss this? Etc., etc. But then there's been other instances where the card was perfect. It just was a corners issue that my grader was being hypercritical about, and I regraded it. Where do you feel, what do you do if you feel the return is horribly inaccurate? My first thoughts was to break the slabs and send my cards to BGS or CGC. Well, I had an instance where I did a big return for 100 plus cards. About 15 to 20% of them were PSA 10s, and a lot of them that got 9s I felt as if shouldn't have 10s. So I cracked open the slabs and I put them back in sleeves. I'm going to resend them in for grading when the prices go down a little bit more, but that's kind of where I am. Speaking of Yu-Gi-Oh, anyone place orders for 25th Yu-Gi-Oh boosters? Are you asking people in the chat that? I understand increases centering, etc. These cards did not deserve such low grades. Will you make an update when there are spots available? I'm 100% in on wanting to use it. Well, it's hard to say, because for me, Wolf, I don't necessarily have like a way of notifying people. It's not like it's one of these things where I can just say notify you, and I don't know if Patreon has like a notify me if a spot becomes available ticker, so that's kind of difficult. But if, of course, you know, I do notice that, let's say 5 or 10 slots of course open up, I can make an announcement of it, but I don't feel like that many spots are going to open up all at once, because I mean, within our first month of really having active users, we've already combined had a total of $50,000 worth of Pokemon products spent from, you know, 30 plus of our members. So it's very much active. It's just, like I said, those select individuals that have used it but have not communicated any purchases, let alone just communicated that they're in the Patreon to begin with. So how do you think Sun and Moon XY booster boxes will perform? I have a bunch of them and just wanted your opinion. Well, I mean, I don't know how to answer that question. I mean, look at how they have been performing. They've been performing extremely strong. So I guess the question really comes down to the purchase price on which you've gotten them. Not to mention, in terms of purchase price in general, they've just continued to go up, and I don't expect that to stop anytime soon unless something recessionary causes it to, you know, cause them to correct, as I do think they're overvalued. But I might think they're overvalued, but the market's going to disagree with me. It doesn't matter what I think. Auctioning off a spot on the Patreon. Haha, that's how you know I've made it, Eli Big Papa. That's so funny. What's up, Trax Phantoms? Thanks for stopping by. I've been busy and haven't had time to look at the products for the wholesale. Yeah, no problem, man. And I know some people as well, they're getting into the wholesale because they know reprints are around the corner and they just want to wait till the booster box reprints happen. And I totally understand that, because most recently we had 5 Elite Trainer boxes. So we had, just to kind of understand, we had in stock Fusion ETBs, Brilliant Star ETBs, Lost Origin ETBs, Alstor Radiance ETBs, and Silver Tempest ETBs. All of those are out of stock except for Fusion now. So like, our overall supply of product has started to dwindle. Like, we were dwindling on booster boxes, now ETBs are starting to dwindle, and specialty product is of course coming back on restock, like I mentioned to you guys on my theory of pre-release kits. So that's going to happen. But in terms of ETBs, now those are starting to go out of stock. So I'm really like, hey guys, like, let's get on this. Like, let's get the reprints going, because once those ETB and booster box reprints happens, we're gonna go crazy. But I mean, I'll be excited for when we get Scarlet and Violet pre-releases up. That should be available sometime soon in the next couple of weeks for those in the program. And I mean, you can go crazy with those. Order as much booster boxes and Elite Trainer boxes as you like. You're probably going to get everything. So, because like I said before, with my mission statement for the wholesale program, it's to continuously spend as much as we can on a monthly basis on Pokemon product, so that we can always guarantee that everyone's going to get their numbers for the product they want. And so far, our spending has been high, and my distributors noticed, and they said, go crazy. Sup, Eli? What's up, Pogadad? Have a good stream. Got a dip, but I think people are going to sleep on the Pogo. Like, like, wait. I think people are sleeping on Pogo like you do. You pull fire from the set for me, and seeing it as an S tier set was accurate for long term. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's extremely undervalued for what it's potentially going to be. Hey Eli, you be making updates on where there's spots available. All right, I already answered that question. Gotta be Brilliant first. Yeah, I hope so. Brilliant hits first, but on the 5-year period, I think Celebrations does better at the 30th anniversary. Maybe I don't get paid to think. That's funny. Brilliant long-term versus Celebrations long-term is a different story. Well, I mean, that's the thing though, is we don't have a crystal ball, right? So we can't sit here and have a conversation about it. But let me put it for you this way, guys, right? Let's go. Oh, I already actually have TCG Player open. So let's take a look at like a high demand set in the Sword and Shield era that has a low supply. I think Unified Minds is a fair one to take a look at, right? We have Unified Minds booster boxes, ETBs priced at almost $300, right? $300 is how much they are priced at in terms of one of the better performing sets, right? Well, in terms of a specialty set, actually, but see, maybe we can't make that comparison actually. Maybe we can't make that comparison because it's tough to say that we can make that comparison when, I mean, we don't have a 20th anniversary box in the Sun and Moon era, so it's kind of hard to really compare, right? Like, what am I going to do? Compare a Dragon Majesty box? Like, you know what I mean? Which I can sit here and compare it, right? Because Dragon Majesty box at $350 versus $300, it did better, right? $50 more, that's a 13% increase. But your point of entry obviously would have changed the argument completely when looking at specialty versus non-specialty. Now, some people are going to say, okay, well, it's specialty, but it's not, anniversary set, and that's completely fair. But when you talk about the history of anniversary sets as a whole, I mean, what's there to have a conversation about with them, right? You've got XY 20th anniversary and 25th for Elite Trainer boxes. What else? You know what I mean? Like, what else are we gonna talk about here? Because the history of it is very scarce. And although I do agree that once again, specialty ETBs perform better, look at this, it's performed better, higher price number, and obviously the XY Era one performed better. There's a difference between performing better versus performing better for the point of entry that you got in at. That's what you have to consider. I think Brilliant is better. You could even buy 2, maybe 3 Brilliant ETBs and theoretically get it faster. I mean, that's the theory. You also look at it from that perspective too. Brilliant long-term versus Civilization. I'm not buying, just pointing out. Well, I already just answered my thoughts for that. Brilliant Stars has the better chase cards in it, so I believe the value will increase faster than Celebrations. Once you open Celebrations, it's kind of flat, useless, unless you get a Charizard or Mew. Well, that's the thing, Wolf, is if you are doing it, it's from a display ability, not from an opening, because no one's opening the 20th anniversary Elite Trainer boxes. I think people, when looking at investments, they tend to fall in love with the top end market price as opposed to the ROI entry point. So your video was pretty reasonable. Thank you, Digi. That is exactly what I'm trying to say. It's your return on investment. How much money did you make versus the price point you entered in at? Babe Cakes, hey, you made it. Good to see you as always there. Hello. Do you think that Pokemon will be reprinting Sword and Shield stuff while they are printing Scarlet and Violet? Yeah, of course. I mean, why wouldn't they? I mean, that totally makes sense. I mean, they printed Sun and Moon era stuff when Sword and Shield was coming out, and they printed XY stuff when Sun and Moon was coming out. Like, Pokemon Company is going to print anything that is in the standard rotation. So I had someone that I never responded to them on a comment, but I'll make the response here if they're here. They said that when I made the argument that because they said they thought it was crazy that the Pokemon Company would do reprints all at once, right? And I said that's historically what the Pokemon Company's done. Given the example, last year they had 5 or 6 booster boxes all get printed at once, all come out and print all at once. He said that's an apples and oranges argument because the Pokemon Company wouldn't do something like that when it's a new set coming out or a new era coming out, right? That's not true whatsoever. Pokemon Company did lots of reprints so at the end of 2020, when Sword and Shield era was coming out. So you had Vivid Voltage, you had Darkness Ablaze at this point. What did they do prints for? Cosmic Eclipse, Unified Minds, Unbroken Bonds, Hidden Fates, and did they do a print for another set? I don't know. I think that was the 4 they did. Now, to be fair, the Cosmic ended up being canceled because of supply chain issues, but they did booster box reprints for the other 2, and they did a massive Hidden Fates reprint. So they still had reprints not only from older sets in the Sun and Moon era, but at the same time, we're also giving out prints for Sword and Shield era sets. So it's not like it's one of these things where they're not going to do prints for Sun and Moon era product during Sword and Shield as long as it's in rotation. Same concept applies for Scarlet and Violet. So the history of that is just proven that the Pokemon company is just cares about the player base, and if it's going to affect the game, then they're going to do it. Now everyone wants a quick flip. Kind of. I agree, Digi. It seems people fall in love and overspend from top tier sets instead of buying in the low from other sets. Yep. People just find what works for them and use resources like Eli's videos and supplemental resources, not actionable resources. Pretty self-explanatory myself, man. When is the CC breakbacks going live? That's a great question. Well, first and foremost, Plebisaurs, I have to get my affairs in order when it comes to getting my allocations out to the wholesale members, because that is my first priority. So to kind of give you an understanding, so I want first and foremost everyone to know that the sealed product, there being a lack of it on the site, has nothing to do with the wholesale program. It has everything to do with the fact that since I started a LGS, a lot of the sealed product that I've been getting allocated from my first distributor has been going to the store. Now that we have multiple distributors, you would think, oh, we've got multiple distributors, I don't have to focus on those 1 or 2 distributors I was using previously before we had the store. Well, there's supply shortages, so I can't give you guys product even having more distributors because of it. And so right now, we're kind of in that limbo where I just got new distributors, product supply is low, so it's kind of hard for me to get product to everyone. And so in terms of the break for Crown Zenith, that's one of those things where when it came to my allocated amount, I gave it all to the LGS outside of whatever new distributors I picked up, which at that point pre-orders were already closed by the time that I did pick up those distributors. So I was only able to grab what I could. And so for myself, it's one of those things where it's just Crown Zenith's one of those sets that sadly it's an in-betweener set between, supply shortages, opening up a new LGS, and finally getting new wholesaler agreements. But with supply, of course, not being there because I missed the pre-release deadline. So take that into consideration with Crown Zenith. When Scarlet and Violet comes out, however, I'm going to do a large Scarlet and Violet break. You're going to get tons of opportunity to enter in Scarlet and Violet. But with Crown Zenith, sadly, it might not happen. I'm going to try my best to make it happen at some point. I promise. I just need the product to be able to do it right now. And that's kind of been the biggest issue because of just the timing of it all. Brilliant Star versus base set. Brilliant Star versus a base set reprint includes Zard sets, puts a low ceiling on one, large over the other. You'll have diminishing returns over the long term on Brilliant was my point. Wait, hold on. Brilliant Star versus a base set reprint included Zard set, pull a low ceiling on one and a... I see. So are you saying that in reference to everyone wants a quick flip? Is that what you meant by that? Do you think it'd be wise to wait until said reprints, or at least confirm reprints until investing in those 35 ETBs, or is 35 rock bottom prices? Well, it depends on what ETB you're talking about. If you're saying like Evolving Skies ETB, for example, 35 is a great price because we know the demand is going to rebound much higher. Now, if you're saying Brilliant Star, obviously Brilliant Star, you can, for the most part, be able to pick them up for around the low 30s. So even if it does get a reprint and it goes into the mid to high 20s, I mean, you just dollar cost average at that point. So I don't think that you really have to be greedy about it. It's kind of like with Chilling Reign, right? Let's say when Chilling Reign was worth $86 and it was worth $82 to $85, I was telling people that it was still a worthwhile investment. Sure, you missed the boat on the $75 train, but at the same exact time, it's not a bad price point to get in at, because even hypothetically, if we did get a Chilling Reign reprint and it dropped prices down to 75 again, well, guess what? Just look at it as another opportunity to dollar cost average into it. Now, of course, if you said, the price is at 100, 120, 130, Well, at that point, then I would definitely say it's worth waiting, because if the reprint does happen, the spread between what the previous low was after a reprint, being that $75 price point, you're in a lot higher of an entry point, and so your risk to reward ratio is a lot less thereof. How do you feel about Vivid Voltage? I mean, if you watched the tier, you saw where I felt about Vivid Voltage. I mean, Elite Trainer boxes are at a decent price. Vivid Voltage is about to go out of rotation, so we will not be expecting any reprints for it. And if they are going to happen, it's going to be now or never, because it's literally about to go out of reprint, and I don't think that's going to happen. And so having that happen with Vivid Voltage, or not having that happen with Vivid Voltage, and it being at around that 115, 120 secondary market price point, and you're able to, of course, get the ETBs for still very affordably, I think it's awesome. I think that's great, especially since, you know, it's about to become pretty scarce. What do you think about buying the Celebrations Ultra Premium Collection Metal Charizard singles from an investability? Now, that's a completely different argument I feel like you can totally make in terms of it, because it is such a niche product. I think that's a lot fair of an argument to make in terms of it, but when I was making my video, I wasn't using that as a factoring, because I wanted to just take into consideration the general singles selection versus the general sealed product selection. Because if I truly wanted to do that, I would break down every single item that came out during a certain set, and I would factor that in. So like, for example, Arceus V figure collection, that came out during Brilliant Star. It's considered a Brilliant Star product, even though it's not part of the mainline Brilliant Star set. So the Celebrations Ultra Premium Collection, although it of course is a Celebrations product, and it was released during the time of Celebrations, it's one of those specialty products where I'm going to take into consideration because it is part of the mainline set, but also at the same exact time, when you're talking about breakdown value of it, it's a very tough argument to really make when comparing. And at that point, I do feel like it is an apples to oranges comparison, because there's nothing else to truly be able to compare it to, because that's the only metal Zard. You know what I mean? And so that's why it's like, hey, if you want to have a conversation about sealed versus singles between each of the sets, then great, we can have that conversation. But if you want to talk about specialty product like metal cards, like figure collections, etc., then you can talk about those specific items as a sealed product. But when you break it on down, that's where I feel like it's a sticky argument for me to really factor that in when looking at Celebrations, especially considering how overpriced I think the Celebrations Ultra Premium Collection is. But once again, market's gonna disagree with me, and so you gotta listen to what the market is saying. But yes, the Charizard itself, to answer your question, I do think that at $100 you could definitely see value. I think honestly the Pikachu is way more undervalued, considering, I mean, isn't it like $30? Like, that's crazy to me that it's that cheap. So that's kind of where I stand with that. How you doing, Eli? What's up, CJ? I haven't been here in a bit. Well, it is good to see you, CJ. Hopefully all is well. Hopefully your hiatus of being gone comes with an excuse. No, I'm just kidding. I agree on your points. FWIW on best now. I'm critical of all that at all. I don't know what FWIW is. But yeah, I mean, dude, I mean, if people disagree with me, I have no problem with that. There's been times where people have proved me wrong. There's been times where I've proven people wrong. Like, and I say that in like the aspect of, when it comes to my conversations that I have, I never want to go into a conversation being stuck in my ways on my thought process, because I'm going into it with an open mind saying, hey, why do I care about this? I care about this because my intention is to give you guys the best form of information from an investability perspective that I think is going to benefit the community. If I'm giving out information that obviously I think is most beneficial to the community, but then people see outside alternative opportunities that is going to help the community, then I want to, of course, spread that because I think it is beneficial to the community. I know some people look at that as a way of, oh, how dare you, you're wrong. Therefore, you are, of course, harming the community. But at the end of the day, my rankings have been proven to show a positive success rate in terms of investability. And just because I so happen to miss a point here or there, or I just so happen to undervalue a product here or there, and there was a potential opportunity that could have been missed, that doesn't mean that overall, when it comes to my general points that I'm making from my investability ranks, that you're going to hit more than not on what the things I'm discussing. I'm not perfect. I don't have a crystal ball, but at the same time, when you're, betting on the racehorse, 8 times out of 10 that, you know, that horse is going to win if it is one of the lead winners. Wow, really good analogy, Eli. Point that I'm making is more times than not I'll be right on a lot of my theories because history has proven that, but I'm still not perfect and I'm always going to miss things. And so it's your guys' job to keep me in check on that and help offer opportunities that I might be missing out on. And there's been instances live on stream where I've given an opinion, someone says something, it completely changes my mind, and I just completely just make a correction, or I make a note of what that individual said and how that changed my thought process. And that's just how I think you have to be, because if you want to be a good investor and you want to make money, you can't be emotional about your decision making. You have to be rational, and the numbers speak for themselves. So that's why when it comes to a lot of these arguments, I always make the arguments based off of what history has told us. So if someone gives me an argument that has history and backing of value, then I'm going to take it into consideration. Which build and battle box will be sought after most down the road? Oh, Silver Tempest. Oh, Silver Tempest is such an undervalued build and battle box. I mean, don't get me wrong, like Lost Origin is a good one too, but people are sleeping on Silver Tempest build and battles. I mean, let's have a conversation about, so if you guys don't know, build and battle boxes have promos in them, right? So there's 4 promos you can standard get in a build and battle, one of 4. If you're having a conversation about the Archeops right now, the Archeops card itself as a promo is going for a price of as low as $3.20. But I myself, I'm just letting you guys know this because you guys can see my listing here. I'm selling it for $3.70, and I sold 12 of them yesterday. And so I only have 3 left, and I started off with 70 of them about 2 weeks ago, and I've sold them for $3.70 consistently, and they've been dwindling. Another one I've been selling, which I sold out of completely, but I had the Corellia one, which is also valued at $3.54. In all honesty, I think you could really sell this closer to $4 because I mean, look at the listings on this. One person, one. So if you have someone that wants to buy an order of 4, I mean, people are willing to pay a higher premium if it means they get multiple quantities, right? So people are willing to pay that $3.75 price point. If they're able to get more, right? So you can list it closer to that $4 mark because there's no one else that's listing multiple quantities of that specific item. But yeah, those cards in particular, I mean, when you're opening up a build and battle kit, right, which comes with 4 packs and then it comes with a promo and a bunch of bulk, if that promo itself is worth the value of a pack, that's incredible, man. And so that's why I think that is extremely undervalued. Same concept goes with the Gengar from Lost Origin. Lost Origin Gengar promo is also one that's actually worth a decent amount. I think it's worth $3 or $4. Let's take a look and see. Okay, so lowest price for it in your mint condition, it is selling for $2.71. Oh wow, it's on direct. Interesting. So yeah, it's around that kind of $3 price point once again. And then the Comfy as well is another one of the pre-release that is worth a decent amount of value. Going at $3.80 to $4. So like ultimately at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, people that can get build and battle kits for an affordable price are very much sleeping on the promo breakdown value. But at the end of the day, if you're not into that and you don't care about that, then that's fine and all. But if you also do care from a sealed perspective, do you guys remember what happened to the Vivid Voltage build and battles and the promos that they came with the stamped Snorlax and the stamped Charizard? I mean, let's have a look at the Charizard from let's see if I can have it in the Sword and Shield promo. I think Vivid Voltage. No, it's not going to pop up in Vivid Voltage. It might come up in promo if I look it up. Let's take a look and see if it pops up under promos. Yep, there it is. It is going for $65 as a promo. This is not a staff. This is just a promo from a Sword and Shield build and battle. So yeah, and I mean, look at the value of Vivid Voltage build and battle boxes. A Vivid Voltage build and battle display is selling for $400. And if you look at the most recent sale for market history, it has been a while since it has sold because they're extremely scarce. But most of the time, you're buying them for $350-ish. So I mean, yeah, there's definitely opportunity to invest in these, but you have to take the cards into perspective. Now, I can sit here and say, you know, the cards for like the ones that I listed, they're on a timer because they're only valued based off of their, you know, playability. But for the Gengar, once again, a card that is desired as a first, first generation Pokemon, I think there's definitely a conversation to be had with that. Wow, I somehow got way ahead of the chat. Where am I? Do you think Evolving Skies? Hey Eli, do you play Pokemon competitively? Hold on one second. We're gonna answer that question. Yes, Eli, do you play Pokemon competitively? I used to compete in tournaments quite a bit. I have not done so in a while. I rejoined in the Evolving Skies era, and I played for about a couple months. Then Fusion Strike came out. Then I hated the Mew and the Genesect deck, and then I quit. So I know how to play the game. If you gave me a deck that was meta and you told me to play with it, then I would play well. But at the end of the day, do I follow up consistently on a meta? No. I used to play Hearthstone at a very high level. If you guys don't know what that game is. So deck building is something that I do enjoy. And when understanding the meta, it's something that if I really wanted to, I could sit down and kind of break into it. But I am just so consumed with a lot of my time being, used up for things in business. And so if I were to get into the game, if I'm being completely honest, I would do it purely from a business perspective so that I would be able to look at the meta cards that I think are going to be investable. And that's actually something that I've looked into in terms of writing articles and blog points for investing in certain competitively playable cards. But that's something that is down the line that we're not there for yet. Do you think Evolving Skies booster box will get reprinted? Yep, I think they will. Hey Eli, are you planning on starting membership on YouTube, like $1 to $5 per month, where we get exclusive emojis or whatnot? Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, I feel like people have recommended to me that before, and if people are down for the exclusive emojis and are willing to pay $1 or $5, then I'm totally for it, man. I mean, for me, it's an opportunity to, of course, get money to help grow the channel, because everything I do is reinvested in the channel. And I mean, you ask my friends, they're like, yo, Eli, get the new Call of Duty. And I'm like, it's free. And they're like, multiplayer's not. And I'm like, but Warzone is. And that's it. I ain't spending my money on anything. I'm like, yo, that's $60 right there. That could go towards more Pokemon product I can sell. So it's like, my mentality is everything goes back in the business. So I definitely am looking into that, and then it would be awesome for you guys because you get exclusive emojis and things out of it. Thanks for answering my question. Will you be considering increasing the number of patrons at the Wholesale group members? Right now at the 50 point, once we know we have an active 50 members, like I said, we've got about 60 to 70% of the members active. But once we start to see that everyone is consistently active, we're going to have to then gauge how difficult it is for myself to be able to manage that. I'm continuously evolving with the system in which I'm managing this all. And so as long as it continues the way it is, where it's progressively getting better and more organized, and if everything runs smooth once we hit that max capacity, then yes, there's a conversation to be had with that. But as it currently stands in time, it's very much a wait and see approach. One thing we might be making changes to, though, is a couple of things. So for those of you guys that don't know, we have a Wholesale, or we have a Patreon tier that is for $12, and I'm thinking about making a couple adjustments to it. So the $12 tier, and I will actually talk about this, and I think it's crucial for you guys that care about Pokemon investing. I think it is crucial that you look at this. So I just realized I am disclosing a lot of private information that I probably should not be. I am going to click on the service so that we can have a conversation about it. So how do I look at this from the viewer perspective? Do I just go in incognito tab, I guess? And then I go Patreon. Here, give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to go I'm gonna go look at this. All right, here we go. We're gonna share this and not disclose private information. So, card profitability database. All right, so if you don't know about this card profitability database, I've had a conversation with people about this. You get access to a full database of information tailored on letting you know which cards have the best odds of making you the most money. So if you want to know how we've been working this out, is we're currently just we've been using for a while, just a general spreadsheet that has an active list of cards that we're progressively updating through each generation, and it's eventually going to, of course, transition into a bot. So what I mean by that is this is what it's going to look like. You type in a generation that you're interested in, you type in the card of that generation that you want to look at from an investability perspective. That bot tells you if it's a good investment. You can do this when comparing cards from different generations, from different sets, from different PSA typings. You can compare cards to their own PSA typings, graded, ungraded, and you can also do a mass comparison where you pull up all the cards from a certain type. So like base set, which is what we're working through right now, it's holo, and so you can do a mass pull for all the holo cards, but in the future you can do mass pulls for golds, for rainbows, for alt arts in a set, that we're going to be adding that as a feature. Now, with the way in which we have the algorithm set up, we have implemented a feature that allows you to get a general understanding of what we deem as a good investment based off of the calculations when using the equation. So, for example, I will actually pull it up just so that you guys can take a look. I will do a demo of it, but we just got finished with actually the main implementations of the bot itself. We still have a couple of additional features we're going to be adding, but for the most part, we're about to start the beta testing pretty soon here. So I'm actually extremely excited to kind of share that with you guys. But here's how something like this will work, right? You will go / right? And then I will click on Ultra Ball because that is what we're calling it right now. And then you will have a list of commands you will be able to choose from, right? So let's say, for example, I want to get the total market cap value of the sets available. Well, of course, right now, since we're in the beta testing, we have first edition base set is the only one available, and then PSA 10. So I will then click enter, and then it will pull up the total market value of every single card times their PSA population, and that is the number that you're coming up with. Pretty simple, self-explanatory, cool one. Here's another one we're going to do, a compare all, right? Where we're going to give the differences in percentages between PSA 10 cards in a compare all setting. So you can do a command like that. Another one you can also do as well is you can do a PSA comparison where you can do a comparison between the PSA 9 and 10 values, and you can look at the general spread. So going back to the compare all, I'm going to enter the compare all. And so what it's going to do is it's going to give us market percentages based off the valuation between the 9 and the 10. If you guys don't know or haven't been listening to my content for a while, one of the most important things I always have a conversation with people is I think that the best investments are ones that you have at least 250% or more of a return if you are going to get a 10 versus a 9. And then in terms of overall spreads between 9s and raws, I think it's obviously worthwhile if you're at least getting enough, whatever the margin of error is for the PSA grading from raw to 9, to where you're making at least break even because you're trying to go for those 10s. Now, obviously, this is part of first ed. So first ed is a lot different because 10s are so much harder to get than 9s. And so these percentages are going to be generally off. But for the most part, how it's going to happen is it's going to rank. It's going to pull up all of the general cards in this set, and then it's going to tell you, based off of the general spread between 9s and 10s, which cards have the highest rate of return if you were to try and grade it raw and try and get a 9 versus a 10 on it. So it's giving you that general percentage. So based off of what it's telling us right now, if you are trying to go for a 10 versus the general raw value of the 9, you're going to make the most money by going for the Hitmonchan versus going for the Charizard. Even though the Charizard itself has a higher dollar value, you're actually making a better percentage yield versus the Charizard if you're going with the Hitmonchan. So that's kind of the general concept of how this is going to work. We're also going to be adding a weights database, so it's going to tell you all the general weights for each and every set, so you can know, hey, is this era weighable? What are the general weights I can expect in terms of if I were to weigh the pack, so you can know what a true light versus heavy pack is. Because a lot of times people are trying to find out when they go on YouTube or when they go on eBay, it says it's listed as a heavy pack, but the weights themselves are technically not considered that, but people wouldn't know that because they're just going to trust the person. We'll have a weight database that's going to give you an error range and tell you all of that information on what it's going to look like. So Here, it looks like I'm actually taking up a little bit of it. I will scroll down a little bit more so you guys will be able to see my my face is kind of in the way. I apologize. But yeah, so this is kind of what John Boy's using it. Yes, and you can also just do an input command, just pull up general pricing as well. But yeah, we're in the beta process of this right now. So I'm extremely excited about this. So if you haven't already signed up, what we're thinking about doing, since we are in the beta process, is we are thinking about changing this to $5 just because it's not a fully implemented feature, and we want to make it that we're more focused on the bot more than we are the actual the data sheet, because the bot itself obviously is programmed to scrape information off the internet, off of TCG and eBay. So that way we're able to give you a lot cleaner of a user interface. And so that way, while we continuously scrape rather than doing it manually, we can offer it at a $5 price point monthly for everyone. We can make that adjustment. And then once we've done that, we can of course bring it to market for a higher price point. But right now, we're in the beta testing for the bot itself, so we're just doing the sheets for now. But if you are a part of this program and you want to be a part of the beta testing, we're going to, of course, be allowing you to enter in, and then we're going to have random select viewers we're also going to allow into the beta testing as we progressively increase the project data that's going to be involved. Right now, we're going chronologically, but eventually, once we start getting into ultra modern, this is going to absolutely, like, this is going to be revolutionary, bro. Like, this is going to, in my personal opinion, kind of change things in which things are going to look like from an investment perspective. So that's just kind of my personal opinion. But yeah, no. I will answer some questions about that if people have it, and then I will go back and answer everyone's questions. Where am I in terms of it? Stupid question, but I'm new to shipping and want to save money. I'm about to ship Heavy Hitters premium box and it's extra large. How would you ship it? Which shipping service? Well, it depends. I have no clue how much it weighs. Go pirate ship, get your dimensions. If you can fit it in a large bubble mailer, like a large bubble mailer, and it's under a pound, then do that. But otherwise, you're going to have to try and get a large custom box, and it's pretty awkward, and it's going to be tough to, it's going to be kind of tough to hear what the truth is for a product that is like that. Make it a 100-person tier and have the big spenders in their own lane and the smaller investors in their own, so everyone is happy and there is no expectation. I've thought about that, Justin Durr, but once again, right now, the main focus at the end of the day is, at the end of it, it has nothing to do with spending, it has to do with people. Because if I'm messaging 50 people on a daily basis versus I'm messaging 100 people on a daily basis, that is so many more conversations that I'm having to have. So that's where it becomes extremely difficult, Justin, because that's kind of the problem. Saul Dr. Applesauce 2 said to buy booster boxes now in his own video. I agree with Eli and Mason. Be patient, wait for reprints. I agree that the latest investment chart you made in case of reprints, I would say Astro would be an A tier investment instead of a BC tier. That's fair. The live is 15 seconds behind, fun fact. I know, right? I'm always trying to do that. Why are people still asking if V-boxes and tins are a good investment? Do they run out of UPCs, boxes, and ETBs to buy? Yeah, that's kind of it, man. People are just scrambling for product and are asking questions that they usually would not. Eli, what's a heavy Stormfront pack? Well, it depends, man. It's kind of hard to say if I'm being honest. So with Stormfront as a whole and that whole kind of generation, typically you have your general booster box weights, and that kind of ranges differently from if you were to get it from like a blister, because blisters have their own weights. But if you are actually just saying what a here, I can actually pull it up. I can actually look up Pokemon data sheet. I have an actual data sheet in front of me I can pull up and I can tell you what the Diamond, Pearl, Platinum weights are. I think I know what the answer is off the top of my head, but I don't want to say it yet until I know for certain that it's accurate. But Stormfront, the heavy average is around 18.6 grams. That is your average weight for a heavy. So I have a compiled list of cards that have been pulled. I have a level X that is pulled at an 18.64, an 18.63, an 18.52, and an 18.56. In terms of the heaviest light pack I've seen, it has been an 18.53. And in terms of the list of the lightest heavy, we have seen an 18.52. So if you're being safe, conservative, if you're in that kind of high fives, low sixes, you're going to have a pretty good average at 18.6 for it more than likely being a heavy. However, you can still get a heavy in the low fives, but you have a higher chance of also getting a light potentially as well. But as mentioned before, an 18.52 did get a level X, so sometimes it's really worth taking a risk on that one. Since you can hit a level X in that instance. But that is what your general weights are from a booster box if you're opening it from Stormfront. Loose packs can be all over the place. Sometimes you'll get loose packs that are a 19.0, that are a 17.5. So you want to be very careful when having a conversation about that, because it can change so drastically based off of the fact where the pack itself came from. But I'm going to go back and read some questions. Before I continue on, just because I wanted to answer anyone if they had questions in regards to the bot that we're going to be implementing, if people are interested in that. But what PSA prices are you waiting for? $12. That's what I'm looking for. Celebrations will outpace every Sword and Shield set probably by 2 times over. Once again, enthused. Are you saying that from MSRP pricing, or are you saying that from current market price? Because I will once again make the argument based off of current market price. Okay, thanks, because ROI is way more important than market price if you can't pick it up at market price. Thanks for your thoughts. Honestly, it kind of seems like PSA just controls grades on certain vintages, all grades. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, man. PSA, they've known, I mean, most grading companies are known for kind of being shady, for being honest. Saw a video where a guy had grades for 5 and a 6, cracked the slab and resubmitted them, and they both got 10s. Yep, I have a video I sent to one of my buddies where a guy just did a resubmission for 9s and like half of them got 10s. I'm in the ICU as we speak. Doctors gave me an IV. I just got horrible pneumonia. Dang, dude, I'm sorry. Hey, well, first and foremost, I appreciate you stopping by regardless. Seriously, prayers for Justin on this one. I really appreciate you stopping by. It means a lot, but I just want you to know that we'll be praying for you. Once again, shout out to Justin on that one, so please keep him in your prayers as he is battling through some pneumonia. Will you list more cards to sell eventually once you build up? What do you mean by cards? Like slab, singles? Anyone told you that you look like Steven Crowder? That I have never heard. I have heard that when I am shaven, and I've told that I have a Henry Cavill look. I've been told Tom Cruise. I've been told Russell Crowe. I don't know where that one came from. I've been told when I have facial hair, I look like Jeff. I don't know what the guy's name is, but he was friends with David Dobrik, some guy named Jeff. And then I've been told that I look like... Those are the main guys I've been told that I look like. It's kind of it. It really just depends on my facial hair, if I have facial hair or not. But it's funny though, if you look at my dad when he was a kid versus me, my dad looks so much like Tom Cruise when he was a kid. It's so funny. Except he wasn't short. He's 5'11". He says he's 6 feet, but he's not. I'm taller than him, I know. He's mad. I'm a little bit under 6'2". I'm 6'1" though. Like 6'1 3/4". But no one's ever told me I look like Steven Crowder. And Eli looks like Tom Cruise. Yep, Travis has said that, but I've also had multiple other people tell me that. You might not see it with the facial hair, but when I'm like clean shaven and like I'm not fat because I've gained a ton of weight since my injury, I've my facial features, especially with the eyebrows too. I have very similar eyebrows and hair to Tom Cruise. Pointing out again that Pokemon Go gift tins are $9.97 at Walmart. That is 50% off if anyone wants to get it. Purchased it multiple times already. So once again, guys, you can get packs of Pokemon Go for $2.50 a pop on Walmart, which is kind of insane. When do products usually go out of print? After they've gone out of rotation for the competitive play. So every 2 years on average. But just follow the rotational format. So every card has a symbol at the bottom left. It's usually a letter. So like it'll say it's an E at the bottom or a D on the bottom or an F. The Pokemon Company announces, hey, all cards that have an E at the bottom left are going out of rotation. That's just an announcement they make, and that usually happens every 2 years. Just only occurred to me on stream, you spend reading the same question you've answered already. It's just only occurred to me how much of the stream you spend reading the same question. Yes, Big Papa, I answer questions more times than I should. Eli shaved beard, we have the Travis theory. To test the Travis. Keanu Reeves, that's a new one. I have not gone to Keanu Reeves. His face is longer, I feel like, than mine is. I don't really have a long face. Great videos with Cardinal. Hey, I appreciate that, Card Palace. Charizard UPC is going to crash so hard it's overpriced and overprinted. Well, that's a hot take, but I mean, I don't know how much more you're expecting it to crash to, considering how dirt cheap it is, but sure. I'm going to very much disagree with that statement, but obviously to each their own. And I won't explain why I disagree with that statement because I've made countless videos as to why. Of course, Babe Cakes and Pika Pika are friends on here, right? Opal is underpriced. As we get older, ladies, our chase changes to crinkly paper, thin skin. Everyone's going to want pieces of tin Opal. Flawless logic. Sell your Marnies and Serena's cards and buy out Opal. Opal waifu in 70 years, Boggs. That's so funny. You guys are good. That's a good one, Pleb. I love that. Speaking of missing things, could the new Marnie Morpeko box in April be undervalued at $40? I think it's an argument that is a fair statement to make because it's Marnie. Marnie is as Marnie does. Guy, I'm already collecting opals. I have certain taste. You guys are funny. Thoughts on Halloween Gengar? I don't know, man. It's kind of hard. When you say Halloween Gengar, what do you mean by that? I should first ask, I guess. Are you talking about like the trick or trade packs? I was able to get Crimson Invasion ETBs for $30 and Celebrations for $40. Yeah, Crimson ETBs are kind of a different story considering the demand for those was poop. You talking Silver Tempest build and battle regular or stadium? I'm talking regular build and battles. The stadiums have 2 build and battles in them, but you're getting less value than if you were to just go buy the build and battles purely. So that's why I always recommend build and battles over stadiums, because stadiums are just kind of a sham. You get more packs but less value out of it because you don't get the promos in the bulk and you're paying more for it too. So it's like it makes more sense at that point to go buy 3 build and battles than buy a build and battle stadium. You're losing money at that point. Howdy, y'all. What's up, Southern Geeks? Do you think Crown Zenith, Yang says, will have the same price effect as Hidden Fates in the future since it has some great alt arts? I think there's been a lot of arguments made, including Mason from Cardinal Gaming said he thinks it's the best set of all time. I think it's definitely the best set in the Sword and Shield era. And for that reason, it would not surprise me if you did see something like that happen in the future with Hidden Fates valuation. And that's why I think it's extremely undervalued and people are sleeping on it. Good afternoon. What's up, Patrick? Thanks for the content as always. Well, thank you for stopping by as always. I think I grabbed your last wholesale membership the other day, hoping you raise your allocations because you got pretty cleaned out. Yes, I know. We got cleaned out so fast. I mean, we had people, like I said before, first month, 50K spent. So much was cleaned out. And Distro is aware of it. And Distro is telling me that hopefully we should get some product here soon. At least that's the expectation. Do you think the Amazon Arceus collection is a bit slept on? Not really. I mean, what? You can get it on discount for $40 and it comes with 10 packs, so you're paying $4 a pack plus the promo. I mean, what's there to like? Originally, we thought there was going to be a Cosmic Eclipse pack, and maybe you had a conversation about that, and then we found out it didn't have one. Yeah, that feels like it's kind of a waste of time. Stupid question, but I already answered that one. Never mind. Do you get the Card Professor database when you do wholesale tier as well? No, it's completely separate as a whole. They are completely separate because the card database in and of itself is worth its weight in gold as we progressively update it. It's the UI software for it. The overall value is insane. And then you're paying it $50 additional for the wholesale access, which also is insane value because you're not getting access to just Pokemon. You get access to Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic, Flesh and Blood, MetaZoo, Wise Swartz. No, you don't get access to One Piece or Dragon Ball Z. Those are the 2 most second asked questions I get for the wholesale tier, but everything else practically. Surprised to hear such a definite answer on ES reprints. It makes you so confident because the Pokemon company historically has printed to demand for sets that are still in rotation so that the player base can be able to play cards in those sets themselves. And as it currently stands right now, the booster box that is at its highest point is Evolving Skies, and it still has a full rotational cycle before it goes out of print, which means that there's more than enough time for it to get another live print for it to go down in price. And the Pokemon company has always addressed this historically. There is yet to be a booster box, barring the COVID supply chain issues. But even then, where the Pokemon company hasn't adjusted the demand of the product, right? Like, sure, you can say, you know, you take a look at like, you take a look at a set like Team Up, but Team Up obviously was a very, very, very rare instance. I mean, Unified Minds got a reprint, Unbroken Bonds got a reprint, Cosmic Eclipse, even though it didn't come in the form of a booster box, it did get a reprint that got canceled because of supply chain issues. Previous to that, in the XY era, you saw Roaring Skies get a reprint, you saw Primal Clash get a reprint, and this was after Roaring Skies booster boxes were pushing almost $300. So it's like the Pokemon company addresses price concerns because they care more about that than they do the player base. Or sorry, than they do the investor base. They care more about the player base. Do you make any money on YouTube? Not really. I make a little bit of money, but not a ton because all of it is really geared towards like throwing it back into the giveaways. So like think about it this way, right guys? If I'm getting my packs of, so I give away Pogo packs, right? If I got 3 winners each and every week, that is $90 worth of pack value that I'm giving out each week, right? That means I have to get at least 9,000 views worth of value to just break even, purely based off of giveaways. So that means I have to have 3 videos that get 3K views, or 1 video that gets 4K, and then 2 videos that get 2.5K. And I mean, you can do the math. On average, on a weekly basis, I mean, I can actually go check my metrics right now. I can tell you what I average overall in the past month, through my studio. Give me a sec. Now it might be a little skewed because my most recent video might hit 10K, and that's going to be extremely exciting. So shout out to me, I guess, for that one. But if I look at the past 28 days, I average around 53. Let me see if I can break it down into 90. So, because I feel like this is more accurate. Now, granted, I did miss some time because of the holidays, so you have to take that in consideration, but we'll just say 90 days, right? I averaged 137,000 views. 137,000 views divided by 3, right? That equals 45,666. Divide that by 4.3, which is the average amount of weeks in a month. That comes out to 10,620 views on average that I am viewing. And so that's kind of my general estimated revenue by that regard. If you want to break it down from a money perspective, according to what my revenue stream says, it says I've made $1,000 in the past 3 months. That seems really inaccurate, but okay. We're gonna do 1,066 divided by 90, because that's how many days. That means I make about $11.84 on average a day. Times that by, we will do 30. So that's $355 on a monthly basis. Divide that by 4.3 to get on a weekly basis. So that's $82.60. So I am yielding minus $8 on a weekly basis based off of what it is telling me. So, which to me, that's totally fine, because at the end of the day, I am not looking at it as, oh, I'm making money off of the revenue, because everything is given back. I look at it as a platform where I can kind of just grow my business in and of itself, gain exposure to outside programs where I can, of course, gain revenue to just reinvest in business ideas and opportunities to give back to the community, like I've been doing so with the wholesale program and the data sheet and the investment videos and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, that's just kind of my whole mission statement. And as long as I can survive making money doing that and it's scalable, then great, I'm gonna keep doing it. But yeah, I'm not really banking on YouTube to make money whatsoever. I wish, though. I might get to PokeRef status. Maybe. All right, already answered all these questions. I agree with all your investments. I already answered that question. Okay. Are tag team alt arts good and good to get? Well, I think personally you've seen tag team alt arts skyrocket in value, and so for me personally, I'm kind of staying away from them. That's just me though, because I mean, you kind of missed the boat on them. Like the tag team alt art cards just absolutely went bonkers. I mean, let's just take a look at the kissy face Latios card. Call it kissy face. The heart Latios card, but let's just look at it, right? It is currently valued at a whopping $406. Oh, look, what is that? In the start of the year, it was at 218. Yeah, so 100% increase. You kind of missed the boat on that. And even prior to that, like a year farther, it was 160 back then. So you could have tripled your value almost a while ago, or 2.5x. So it's kind of hard for me on that one. I stay away. That's why I'm more intrigued about getting in on alternate arts and Sword and Shield era when reprints happen, because if we're gonna follow the history of what Sword and Shield, or sorry, Sun and Moon alternate arts have done, then I mean that's more indicative. To be fair though, this was a very underprinted set, so they have a lot more volatility and movement because the supply is so thin. What's your price strategy on TCG Player for most singles in terms of low market, etc.? I just got started and my popular cards sold quick, but now I've got a backlog of 90 cards just sitting. Well, there's so many different strategies, Lord Narwhal. I would say that the first piece of recommendation I would say is go watch go watch my live stream video that I did with an interview of RNG Games. Shout out to him. He's one of the most underrated individuals when it comes to starting your own TCG Player business. RNG Games with a Z at the end. You will see the live of it if you just filter my lives. And then Bolt King. Bolt King is another one. Shout out to him. Both great to learn a lot of information and a lot of different strategies at hand on how they like to do things. So that's kind of my personal opinion. Now, I would also recommend that you listen to Mason's video. However, in terms of backlog, that's where I don't recommend watching it, because he has a large backlog himself that he still is yet to find out what he's going to do with. But those other two have a general backlog strategy on how they're consistently flipping cards. So that's the live stream. I highly recommend you go watch both of those. I think some of the tins are decent as far as sealed investing. I have a few of those evolution tins. Yeah, I think the EV evolution ones are definitely can do some value. You will definitely a huge box for that heavy hitter product. Yeah, you'll definitely need one. I mean, booster boxes are in low supply, but CUPC is everywhere. Stop buying a V box and tins. UPCs are $100 bucks. Pika, man's given wisdom over here. Great investment analysis. I keep picking up a few boxes weekly. Shout out to my cousin watching the stream, David and Yuri Nator. Keep up the content. Thanks for answering how much it weighs. That's very interesting. I would think 18.6 grams would be super light. Nope. That's how it is, man. You look like Jason Momoa. I look nothing like Jason Momoa. Get out of here. I look nothing like him. Already answered the question, Jason, about the celebrations cards. How does the Wholesale membership work? Ying says. Pretty simple. You join the membership. You integrate your account with Patreon through Discord. Once you've done that, you message me that you've done that, and then I send you an email that is going to give you a fulfillment sheet you're going to fill out whenever you want to make a purchase. You go to our now channel you have access to in the Discord, our Wholesale members channel. It's going to have video links that you can go through and watch on the tutorial of how to go through the process. And it's also going to show you a link on the product that you can purchase. Once you've done that, you then fill out the sheet that I sent in to you, and then I will either get a notification via my just Google Drive based off of activity saying, hey, this person has made changes, and then I will then go in and see if you have a product that you're looking to purchase. I message you about it, fill the order, or you can always personally message me saying, hey, I want to order this product. Is it available? I'm going to put it on the sheet right now, but I figured I'd ask before I did anything, et cetera, et cetera. But it's pretty self-explanatory. You just get access to a wholesale product from distributors. That's kind of the main theory of it. Obviously, I am the one as the middleman, since I am the one that has access to distro. So it's not directly you're having it shipped to you from distro. There's still that kind of intermediary part of it, but it's as close as it's going to get to having your own distributor or access to line of distributors for $50 a month. So, and I think it's worth its weight in gold, because otherwise you're going to have to open your own LGS to get access, and having a monthly rent of $3K plus a month versus $50 to run out of your house is well worthwhile. If anyone says they're 6 feet, that means they're 5'11". Sometimes, Koga, one of my buddies is, I don't know. Sometimes, Koga. Sometimes. Have a great day, Poketrainer Mason. Good to see you as always. Pika says, I'm 6 feet, right? Eli, do you think it's worth grading Shadow Lizard maybe like a 7 versus maybe a Venus, maybe a PSA 9, and Japanese Shining Magikarp? I mean, do the math, Justin. Just do the math. What is the value of the raw card, and what is the value of the card that is a 7? Is it worth it to potentially get that grade? And what is the fee going to cost to get that grade? And is it going to allow you to make money if you do hit at a certain point? Eli looks like Aiden Ross. Y'all are tripping. You guys are just throwing out names at that point. Man, Justin, that's so mean. I feel like that's mean. Opal Premium Collection with calendar when... Yeah, right. Eli looks like Johnny Sins. Don't believe me? Look it up. Guys are crazy. Oh my god. Oh, hat, Eli. Yeah, I do have a hat on because my hair's crazy underneath. What about DBZ or One Piece? Nope, don't have any of those. I already answered that question though earlier, so I'm just behind on messages. Thanks for all of your info. Just getting back to collecting, was wondering if it would be possible to show how you can see the pop of cards, mainly PSA. Well, you can see most of that tracking information done so on PSA's website. That's usually where it's up to date. Just go to PSA and then go to their population report and then search the card or the set in which you would like to search through. Pretty simple. What's up, Miguel? Shout out to Marcus as well. As this last stream, but I might have been missed. I had an offer to buy a case of Celebrations for $1,500 Canada. Do I take it or use the money for other product minimum of hold 5 years? So I assume when you're saying a case of Celebrations for $1,500, I am not the best on conversion rate. So let's do CAD to USD and see what that means for us. That is $1,122. That is a big yikes, my guy. I mean, it's hard for me because I'm not in Canada, so I don't know what the market is, but I can tell you here in the US, you can get it for way less. I assume you're talking about ETBs. Personally, I would say heck no. I would stay far away from that, man. That is way too expensive of a price. But sorry, to clarify, that's a case Celebrations UPCs. Thank you. Holy crap, I'm glad we got that clarification. So, I was like, yo, what? All right, let's do some math, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do some math. So 1122 divided by 4. You're paying $280 a Celebration Ultra Premium Collection. So if we're just going and taking a look at the general market price for the CUPC, do I think that picking it up at $280 is a good deal when it's currently actively selling for $360 on almost a daily basis? I think that's a great pickup. I think that's a really good pickup because I don't know what it is right now in Canada, so that of course is going to affect things. But if I were in the United States and I were selling this product and I picked it up at $280, that's an easy quick flip. Like even with it being such a chunky shipper, that's a great product price to be able to pick up on and flip it. So yeah, shout out to you on that one, man. I mean, like I said before, man, I'm not telling people to go pick up Celebrations UPCs at 260, but at 360, but at 280, $80 worth of marginal room before fees. That's, I mean, and you're talking about a 5-year set on it. Yeah, man, go for that. I mean, honestly, if it were me, I wouldn't even look at that as a long-term investment. I would flip that real quick. But thanks for the clarification. Yeah, always clarify, guys, because I never know when you say a case. You can look up anyone on YouTube, how much they make and everything. But that's so inaccurate, though, is the problem, Corey. when it comes to Social Blade, it is so inaccurate. I mean, you guys want to talk about my Social Blade for what it says that I have? So if you go look up Social Blade, right? It's supposed to tell you what their general analytics are. And like, look at Pokemart USA, right? And look up my general analytics on Social Blade. So currently speaking, it says that my estimated monthly earnings is $12 to $193. It is 350 or like something like that. So this is off by a crazy amount, right? And then when it says subscribers for the last 30 days, well, yeah, it's a completely skewed metric because I got a video that got 10K views almost, and I picked up 200 subs off that one video. So it's like, this is super inaccurate in terms of views. So, and this is saying average of 10, average of 10, average of 30. This, trust me, as someone who uses Social Blade to check myself sometimes, I'm like, I wish that, I mean, it's inaccurate, you know? It is definitely inaccurate, but it's funny too because I always wonder in terms of monthly gains and subscribers. I mean, look, it says for my most recent month, in the month of in January, I only picked up, or in December, I only picked up 210 subs, but that's not true. So yeah, I wish it was more accurate, but sadly it is not as accurate as I would like it to be. So, but it is funny because I do like to see what the full monthly statistics are, so I can see what their kind of predictions are for what my channel is going to look like in the future, right? So like how much they expect I'm going to gain. So, because hey man, if they think that I could on a weekly basis I could get it to, I mean, how much did they say that they feel as if I can get to? I forgot. I remember reading a chart somewhere where it said I would like hit a large amount of subs. I forgot what oh, here it is. Future projections. Here it is. Future projections, right? So they're saying in the next 12 months I can get to 17K. And they're saying in the next, how long until they hit 100K? They say basically in 3 years. I'm like, I don't know. That'd be cool. 100K. 3 years seems like a long time, but you never know. All right, but back to the questions. Back to the questions, ladies and gentlemen. Dedicated to throwing it back. Oh, funny. Do they normally reprint a couple of times? If I'm correct, Evolving and Brilliant had only been printed twice. Evolving got the tiny reprint. Brilliant Stars, I was under the assumption got a reprint because of my distributor throwing a ton of product at my face all at once. And I asked him and he said, yep, we're getting a large print. But come to find out after further investigation, it was just a delayed print for Wave 2 of Brilliant Star, which didn't even affect the market at all. So, I mean, the market price at that point had really been calculated in. So it's kind of a disappointment, in all honesty, that we never really got a Brilliant Star reprint. Like, it was more or less like a quote-unquote resupply is what I would call it. Reprint, you'll see an actual market effect, not just a $10 drop. I don't know. I got in late with the case of Celebrations UPCs around 1200, which in looking back on, I should have used it for something else. I mean, you at least can flip it and make money off of it. So, I mean, or if you look at it long-term game, it's, you know, at the end of the day, it's definitely something that's scary to get liquidity locked on an item that's so overinflated already. Don't get me wrong. That's why I like to flip items like that. It's just so much better because then when a reprint happens for an item and you know there's a really juicy opportunity to get in dirt cheap, then I can just flip into that. I like it better. So the Rainbow says, hey guys, how's it going? Eli here. Hey, most recently in my videos, I've been saying in today's video. So I haven't said hey guys as much as I used to. I watched your last video about the best investments. What is your thoughts on Evolving Skies and Brilliant Star and 10-year hold? Do you think they're a good investment? I mean, my ranking for my last video was purely based off of what the current market price is for product. So Evolving Skies, I'm not going to tell you to get up an Evolving Skies at $300, a booster box. But at the very end of it, I said if it got a reprint, I gave you my thoughts on it. So, I mean, you're asking me the question, but you said you watched the video. It's all explained in the video. Just jump to the points that I made at the timeline. Can buy one for $254, not $400 for a For a celebration GPC, that's a great deal, man. Howdy, y'all. What's up, Ali GX? My local Wally World had a Flareon VMAX box for $40. Splurged and bought one, and then looked at the price and found out a little bit more. Shout out to you on that one, Ali. Digi at Pokemart USA, start supplying Lorcana when it comes out. I would love to, man. Anything I can do to get a hold of Lorcana as a huge Disney nerd myself. Oh my gosh, I would love that. If you truly just love the card, buy it regardless, but wait till prices get better, because if they're going up, they must come down at some point. For the most part, I would say that general theory can apply. Obviously, there's always certain pockets in the market where that might change, but yeah, I would say overall, when a set first comes out, of course, I would agree with that. Hey, Eli, what's your mind for the floor of Crown Zenith? I think you're looking at it, Big Daddy. I think that the floor itself is already surprising as it is, and I think that Crown Zenith is right now the most undervalued product I've ever seen. It is insane to me how undervalued it is. The value that you should be able to get out of this is... I just don't understand it. I do not understand how it's this cheap. No idea yet, Jason. I will look to do it at some point, but it might have to be delayed just based off of the points that I made early in the video, but I don't want to repeat myself because I'm trying to get caught up on messages that I'm already really far behind on. I thought you said rock hard, not raw card. No, I said raw card. Raw card. You do look like Aiden Ross. Get out of here, Jayon, you freaking troll. Jan, what the heck? Aren't you a mod on this? Why is it not showing you up as a mod? That is not right, brother. Here, let me change that. I'm gonna add you as a moderator right now, so we made sure that's good. When is the next chicken nugget challenge? That is a great question. I don't know, man. I will have to find a different McDonald's because that was a terrible McDonald's chicken nugget experience. Did we make Mason uncomfortable? He sat there quiet while you dished out all the juicy tax financial advice. I asked him that after the stream, actually, if I'm being honest, because I wanted to make sure everything was okay, because there was certain moments where I felt like he seemed uncomfortable, but he assured me he was completely fine, so I think he's okay. I think one of the things that I learned about Mason from doing my interview, which first off, shout out to him for coming on, awesome guy, really enjoyed him, super down to earth. I think the biggest thing that I learned was I would ask too many questions at once, and he was only able to focus on one and then kind of missed all of them. So like all the other ones. So like if I asked 3 questions or 2 questions at once, he would either focus on one question or he would focus on making a point related to that question and then forget what the original question was. So I really had to focus in as an interviewer on asking very specific 1-point questions that I knew he could stay on topic for. And that's just something you have to be good at as an interviewer, because certain people can break down and analyze things in different ways. And so being able to do that depending upon how someone processes things and adjusting as everyone is completely different is part of doing an interview. And so that's kind of what I just learned with him. So I feel like there was probably moments he felt overwhelmed because I would just bombard him with questions when I should have just slowly broken it down for him to be able to process each one at a time. And that's something that I eventually made an adjustment for, because I felt like there was a lot of times I was repeating questions, and it was more or less just because the general point wasn't, the question wasn't coming across in an articulate way that was able to be understood. And so that was my fault for that. But no, he said he was all good, and it was a blast having him on. And he stayed and talked with me after when we were done with the stream about some other things, and it was awesome. I mean, I picked his brain some more knowledge of information. If you haven't checked out the stream, highly recommend it. So yeah, and I would definitely love to do it again in the future, because he definitely has a lot of information to learn from. What the heck's going on with Evolving Skies? It's being Evolving Skies, man. We need to talk about the Moonbryon, right? The in comment is kind of true, not gonna lie. Wow, you guys are haters, man. You guys are haters. I do not look like Aiden Ross. That is such an insult. How do I look like Aiden Ross? I do not look like that. He has such a bigger nose than I do. And even his facial features too are so different. I don't have curly hair. I mean, his head's different than mine. He's got a lot longer of a face than I do, but I don't know, maybe it's just me. I kind of see it in this picture. Maybe I do kind of look like Aiden Ross. It's just the picture you look at. When I look at this picture, I see it. Damn. I kind of look like Aiden Ross. I didn't realize that. I guess when I look at this picture or I look at this picture, I'm like, there's no way I look like this guy. But then when I look at all the other pictures, I was like, you guys kind of bring up a point. I kind of do look like him. I didn't really see that at first. All right, I'm mistaken. Oh, interesting. It is overpriced. I agree, chicken. What do I think? Is that what you mean by is that what the question you were asking? Eli, what do you think? I don't know what that's in reference to, but feel like after $300 hit, everyone wanted a piece and we're paying stupid prices. Yeah, 1 million soon. I hope so. Hey, what's up, Agent Crypto? Good to see you as always. Don't forget to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that notification bell. Hey, yo, there's a lot of good, cheap, and sneaky ways to get evolving skies, perhaps breaking open product. I thought about making a video about that. Because there is. I think you're right. How much capital did you have when you started your business? Well, my online business, I had about $5,000 to $10,000 of capital. But in terms of the store, we invested about $100,000 in capital. You think Crown Zenith really gonna pump? Is it going to have how many waves to be eligible for reprints and regardless of rotation? Well, it's gonna have 2 years if we're talking about rotation, and then it's gonna have like 3 or 4 different waves of product releasing. So it's going to more than likely have its consecutive product being pushed out over a period of time. And in terms of pumping in value, I don't know when it's going to happen because I don't have a crystal ball, but at some point I do think it's gonna pump because the valuation of the set as a whole will be realized. I vote yes for the next chicken nugget challenge. Oh my gosh. I am going to have to change that dollar evaluation. I think I said like $1 a nugget, and now I feel like I'm going to have to up the price of that and say like, I think I'm going to have to do like $2 a nugget or $3 a nugget or something like that. I'm going to have to change it because I regretted that so fast. How about Hot Wing Challenge? Yo. I like that one. That would be fun. Man, you guys really want to make me more than just a Pokemon channel. Just talk about more than that and just do content. Hey, I'd have fun with that. That's for sure. I'm into it. Appreciate it, bro. I think once I was at Target, 55 people were going to miss the sub 45. I appreciate it. I'm with you. I think once Wally and Target get them at 55, people are going to miss the sub 45. Yeah, no, for sure. Eli, would you be mad if I made my own Patreon and sell access to your wholesale tier? That way I can make a bunch of money when you can ship a bunch of orders to my various customers. Chicken Dinner's trying to scamaz the system. Well, if I'm being honest, if you are someone that's interested in combining your patron tier, like let's say you want to go in as a friend, I have no problem doing that because I do know of a guy that actually does that currently. However, I do have a surcharge that I charged for each individual shipment because the whole idea to make my life easier is that I'm shipping a bunch of product all to one person, and that makes it just so much easier for me because of sealed cases. But if I have individual people that are wanting me to ship here and then here and then here and then here, that takes up so much more time. So there's going to be a surcharge for it. In terms of if you were to do something like that, but it's definitely not something that's out of possibility if you were to do it. But if you're trying to make a customer based line of it where you're like, yo, I'm going to try and resell it, I mean, and you're wanting me to do direct to consumer, I'm going to have to, like I said before, there's going to be a surcharge for it, but I mean, it's possible. The live stream with Mason is definitely top 3 guest streams so far. Hey, I appreciate that. Where would the other 2 be, Pika Pika? That's the real question. Yes, crazy hot wing challenge, please. Yo, is that Ross? You guys are crazy. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yo, it's Ross. What's the best CZ product to get? Holy crap, I see it now. The nose is not the nose. It's just the beard. Oh my god, you look like brothers. Eli looks like him. He's a tall Aiden Ross. How tall is Aiden Ross? That's the real question. He's 5'7"? Dang, he's a short man. Sorry, I apologize to everyone who's 5'7". And it's not short. Average in the US is 5'10", 5'9". Short would be like 5'4", 5'5". You need to shave your head and reconsider. I cannot shave my head, man. I've got scarring on my head, so that would not be good. And it would be definitely not pretty. What do you think will happen to the sets that won't be included in the next reprint wave? Will they shoot up further? Probably. For evolving, I guess I was just referring to the sudden spike in booster boxes. We don't see any sales at 300 and suddenly people were buying at 349. Yep, I know what you're saying on that one, Roman. Yeah, or Aroma Sheets. Yeah, it was crazy to kind of watch that happen. I remember looking and I was like, oh, it's been sitting at 290 for a while now. It's been like a month. It's just sitting here at 290. 290 might be the kind of price point, or I shouldn't say a month, like a couple weeks. And it was like, this is it. This is going to be the cap of the price of it before it goes down after the reprint. Nope, 315 next day. And I'm like, what happened to 300? Like all of a sudden, boom, broke up. But that's how it be sometimes. Yo, always good to see you, average player. Just checking in. Sad I had no time to join the stream today. Great job on the vids recently. Hey, it's always nice to see you, as always, average player, no matter what. Yo, Poke J Collector, my boy. Poke J, I might have some questions for you pretty soon here in terms of efficiency metrics that I am gonna need to do some calculations for. But shout out to you. Thanks for stopping by as always. What's your opinion on evolutions? It's 700, but I feel because it is the base set 2.0, besides that, I don't see why it is so much. It's just a very nostalgic set. That's just kind of the reality of the situation. It was printed into the ground. People thought it would never be worth anything. People realized supply and demand economics is going to do what supply and demand economics does best, and prove people that don't understand it wrong. And then it went up in value, and here we are. It's kind of my honest thoughts, honestly. Honest thoughts, honestly. Right now, I'm sitting on roughly... Oh my god, I'm about to catch up, bro. I am about to catch up on questions. Oh my gosh. We'll probably end it after I've finally caught up, because we're pushing the 2-hour mark already. Right now, I'm sitting on roughly 320 loose packs of Evolving Skies. Will they ever be worth anything? I mean, my guy, they're worth like $7 a piece right now on TCG players. So you're sitting on like almost $2,300 worth of product right now, something like that. I mean, come on. Yeah, they are worth something right now. What's your rarest booster box you got? So the rarest one I have right now is just a Cosmic Eclipse, which I'm planning on selling that at some point. But the rarest I've owned 2 separate times. I've owned a Majestic Dawn booster box, which I had one that I sold to, how am I forgetting his name? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, how am I forgetting his name? Yo, what's up, guys? Something here, back again. Talk about some shiny Pokemon. What is his name? Oh my gosh, I'm having a brain fart, man. I need some food today. Shiny Pokemon Hunter. What is his name? How am I forgetting it? A-Drive. Yeah. So I sold my first booster box to A-Drive. That was cool. And then my second booster box of Majestic Dawn that I got, I just sold it after I moved, because I was just trying to get as much liquidity as possible so that I'd have as much room as possible to just buy stuff back when I moved to the new location in Arizona. But yeah, and then prior to that, I had a booster box of Black and White base set I owned not too long ago. But yeah, most expensive was definitely Majestic Dawn, which I will buy again at some point. I'm just constantly always, selling because I run a business. I vote yes for hot wings. If you do McDonald's, raise the price of nuggets from 20 for 5 to... Get out of here, bro. I did $1 a nugget, not 5 for $20. I'm losing money at that point. Roma, but I paid $3 each. Are nuggets investable? They are if you're Eli, I guess. I don't know if they already asked this question. How do you think SS alt arts will increase or decrease in value? I think that when you see a large amount of reprints for these products, they're going to decrease in value, and then they're going to be really good long-term opportunities, as we've seen with Sun and Moon. When you do live openings and open any alt arts, you should do a Blazing, Ghost Pepper, Habanero, AF Hot Wing. No. Can I hold your mystery packs and sell them in 10 years? Yes. One thing I'm actually looking at doing for mystery packs is I'm looking at putting first edition stamps on them and making different set symbols, because I think it would be really cool if I could make like additions so that people could do something like that with collecting them. So I've actually considered doing something like that in the future, Tyrone. Can I hold your mystery packs and sell them in 10 years? But yeah. I want a Zapdos emoji. Araz says, hey, I could definitely look at that. Short King offended. Damn, I'm 5'7", Gavin says. I knew people were going to get mad when I said 5'7" short. I'm sorry. I changed my opinion. Do the Evolving Skies get a reprint? Yes. I've answered this 5 times already on stream. Sorry. It's just funny. It's so we can giveaway still rigged, or can I win one these days? Yes, you can still win one, Steven. Do you comment and like on each video? You will get one at some point. I swear. I swear, Steven. I'm gonna imprint that in my mind, and one of these days you're gonna win one. And I'm gonna the minute I see your name on the list, I'm gonna be like, finally. Spam the chat. Don't let them catch up. Get out of here. Pokemon Center Crown Z, the ETBs are under 200%. Oh my gosh! Stop spamming the chat, you guys. I'm never getting out of here. Oh my gosh. Ah. Everyone drop some questions. Where am I? I got lost now. Pokemon Center CZ ETBs over or under a 200% in the next 5 years. Oh my gosh, over a 200% return. That's so easy. That's such an easy answer. Is Rick Steven? He just gives the packs to himself. You guys are crazy. You guys are crazy. He sold it to Cool Trainer Ryan. Yes, I sold. That would be cool if it was Cool Trainer Ryan. That'd be a cool sell. Do you see Celebration singles on the upward trajectory for the next year? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they went up, but considering how easy it is to pull most of the cards, it's one of those ones where I'm very speculative because the supply is so high. How many wings can you eat? I don't know, man. Probably like, I know I can at least eat 30, probably 40 plus. I did an actual wing challenge where I actually had a snack right before I did the challenge, and I ended up eating like 35. And I said 60 was going to be easy, and I failed once again on wings. So I think I can at least, if I'm going to now be more realistic about my expectations, I think I could probably get to 40 without a snack, of course. But I think minimum I could do 30. But to be fair, my metabolism has slowed down because I now eat once a day because I am just working nonstop. I worked 14 hours yesterday, and the first time I ate was at Wendy's at like 7 o'clock at night, and then that was it for the day. And right now it's 3:46, and I have not eaten since. So it's been almost a full 24 hours since I've ate. So I need to be better at eating, guys, but I literally wake up, I check my emails, I check my Discord messages, I answer people, I do work calls, and then I get done, and then I record video, do a live stream, package up products, so many different things. So yeah, it's not healthy. We'll go with that. What's the best place to get booster boxes once they restock hits? Game Nerds, Smoke and Mirrors, Paladin Cards, Safari Zone, me. There's another one I feel like I'm missing. Becca Castle. That's another one. Hurry, we need 25 descriptive questions quick. Stop it! Can I be a mod? No. Yo, let's my mystery pack. Well, I don't know what you meant by that. Bad investment. Sun and Moon Beta. Ask faster. All right, guys. You guys are the worst. Stop it. Do you play D&D? No. Eli, give us VIP. No. When the gaming channel coming? I don't know yet. When it will also open again in full? Well, when it's not full, it will open again. All right, you guys. I gotta call it, ladies and gentlemen. I have so much work stuff I have to do, and you guys are just bombarding me with questions, so I don't stop. Do you ever feel embarrassed to promote your own store? No, Eli. Well, you don't have much stock always. You always do the community right. I appreciate that, Wolfie. I don't feel bad because I'm very honest, open, and transparent about when I'm selling product. If there's a better deal elsewhere, I will direct people that better deal elsewhere. And if there isn't, then I'll say, hey, I got the best deal and I'm helping the community one way or another. And that's why I have no problem mentioning it. Because if I'm being honest, if I'm selling a booster box that's market price is 150 and I'm selling it for 110 and there's no one else selling it for 110, then I'm not shamelessly shilling. I'm helping the community. And if I'm selling a booster box for 120 and someone else is selling it for 110, I'm going to be like, hey guys, I'm selling it on my side for 120, but if you want to go buy it cheaper somewhere else, then we got links in the deals Discord down below. Like whatever I can do to help you guys at the end of the day is what matters. So, and I feel like for the most part, that's reciprocated by having just you guys that are part of the stream that support me because you care about me and the continuation of the channel and the continued projects that I'm going to do to help bring back awesome ideas and innovation to the community. So for me, it's more of looking at it from a customer service perspective, you know, which for the most part I'm able to also add value through giving great prices on top of that. So kind of like with the breaks. But all right guys, I gotta get out of here though. I know you guys have been trying to hold me hostage, which it's always fun. I love talking to you guys, so it's fun. It sucks to leave, but I got work things I gotta do. I've got so much going on the next couple of days. But as far as it goes, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to enter into our weekly giveaways, make sure you leave a like, comment down below, subscribe.